Well, all right. It's almost that time of the year, and I'm starting to get a lot of work to do on tillers. Tillers, because usually you use them, as far as I know, a couple of times a year, right? In the springtime, getting ready for the growing season, and then later in the fall, right? As far as I know. I don't exactly have a green thumb, but it seems like that's the usual times, right? So I did get one in, and I'm going to try to troubleshoot this thing. Let me show you what I got. Alright, so this is a yard machine, 5.5 horsepower. Looking at the engine, this is probably, what, a late 90s, mid to late 90s. Let's see. Code, yep, 97. You can tell by the engine, and this one has the carburetor up here. It's not gravity fed, so the later generations, I think, had the gas tank up here with the carburetor down underneath. And those are the ones I like. These, yeah, I think I just did, I worked on one of these on a reel mower, and it took me 2 engines to to get one running out of it. But this one, I've already drained most of the gas. It had some really old gas in it, and I tried to crank it, and it's just nothing, right? So I just need to troubleshoot this thing. I guess I'm gonna go underneath here, probably spray some starting fluid or drip some gas in, or take the spark plug out and drip some gas in here, and see if it has any spark, you know, that kind of thing. But everything else on it looks pretty good. It's a pretty solid machine, weighs a ton, and everything else looks okay on it. I'll just fool around with it once I get it running. There's neutral. This, there we go. It seemed like that was stuck there for a second, but no, everything's good. Everything's moving all right. You just can't get it started. So, and we'll start and see if we can get this sucker running. Let's take the cover off. The filter, it's okay. Could use a new filter. Looks pretty clean down there. So this thing's a lot. It's dusty, but it looks like it's been sitting in a garage. It's not like it's been sitting outside, right? So that's good. Let's see if it'll even try. Got the choke about halfway. It's on fast. Yeah, it's not even trying. Let me check for spark. I always sometimes have a hard time looking for spark when there's a big glare on it, like right now. There we go. I'm probably blocking your view, but it's the only way I can see. I saw a little spark. It was really weak though. I am going to try putting some gas directly down into the carb. Yeah, it's kind of dry. I don't think there was any gas or anything getting down to it. Let's see if it'll give a little spark. All right, it tried. So, it was kind of weak though. Guess what I could do, guess I'll go ahead and put some fresh gas in, but let's see if we can get some gas flowing into it and see if we can get it to turn over again. Alright, so I just filled it up probably about 3/4 of the way up, maybe up to here. And I'm gonna shoot some, this is 2-cycle mix. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot some of that in there instead of starting fluid. But since this thing has probably been sitting for quite a while, I'll put the 2-cycle mix in it to give it some kind of lubrication. Okay, the choke is on. Idle's up. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I think that it's a weak spark. I can tell there's compression. Okay, well that's a good sign. I'm sure it just burned off whatever I just pumped into there. So I think this one's going to take a routine carburetor cleaning, and we'll see what happens after that. Alright, so there's the carburetor. I think I'm going to go ahead and take all this off, this cover, and take a look at the magneto. Take a look at it. Maybe it just needs to be, you know, re-gapped, reset or something, cleaned off, and then re-gap it and make sure we can get the best spark we can out of that. Because it did seem, when I saw it, the spark looked weak, but it gets so bright out here sometimes it's hard to see. But it's acting like it, right? So I'll go ahead and take all this off, and then we'll take the controller and the carburetor off. Give everything a good cleaning, reset it, and see what that does. There it is. I'll get it. Get off. There's another down here. There it is. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. You can tell it's that's not bad, just a little rusty. Let me get some sandpaper and we'll clean all this stuff off. Alright. Okay, those are ready to go back on. I'm going to go ahead and take the carburetor off, all this good stuff first, and get the carburetor cleaned. Then I'll put the rest back together. Alright. There's the door. You can sharp it back the way it should. There's one on, so it's a choke, right? Yeah. And the governor's down there. And that should do it. Let's see if we can lift this sucker off. There she blows. So the gasket looks like it's in pieces. Chunks of it off of here is still on here. Yeah. Well, what can I say? Let's I'm going to stick this in the ultrasonic cleaner and I know there's we need to clean this out. We'll get all this out. We need to back this out, get it cleaned off, this needle valve here, and then here's the diaphragm. I'll take this off, make sure everything underneath here is clean, make sure the diaphragm isn't too stiff. But after that, I think we'll be good to go. Alright, let's take some of this stuff off. Yeah. It does look pretty clean though. We'll get that off. Let's look at the diaphragm. Yeah, come back here. Trying to gently take it off without running the gasket. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of sticky. And there's a spring loaded, and that felt like it was stuck. If you saw that, I had to pop it out of there. So it should have been springy like that. So that was probably one of the problems there. Alright, well that's good. The rest of it I'm going to put in a cleaner. Alright. Trying to get this sucker heated up too. It takes forever. But looks like I need to replace the fluid one of these days. I'm using this WD-40 stuff, cleaner and degreaser, and I water it down a little bit. And so far it's been working okay. Alright, here we go. And I'll flip it after this cycle and hopefully Hopefully it'll be a little warm by then too. So there we go. Alright, so while the carburetors are cleaning, I'm going to go ahead and mount this magneto back on and gap it off. You can see this is a little product tag. You can use a business card. This is almost the same thickness. It's just one of those product tags that I used to put on my stuff so I wouldn't get my customers mixed up. But these things work very well. Is that right? Is that down? There's a little bit of grit down there. I'm going to try to get it all out. And this is on that top reservoir, you know, on these tanks when it's not a when it is not a gravity fed. You can see the way that one long shaft goes down to the bottom, and the carburetor sucks it from there into this top cavity, and then from this cavity down over. So this is almost like a little float bowl that is right here without the float. Alright, so we're just waiting for the carburetor. Alright, well, I got it all put together. Got the carburetor cleaned, got the magneto cleaned and gapped. Everything is on there. Always check and make sure your choke and throttle is working fine, and your stop point looks like this one's about right here, so not all the way, but and I think that's about it. Let's got the choke on. Let's give it a few pulls and see if it'll start. I know it'll take quite a few pulls because it's all bone dry, right? And it's going to have to fill gas into that little reservoir and then from the reservoir in, so it's going to take quite a few pulls, but let's see if that did the trick. Choke off. Alright, he's going to try. What's up, kitty kitty? What are you doing down there? You gonna find me a mouse tonight? What was that? Just needs a little cleaning up. We'll put the air cleaner back on. And I'll clean it up for him and check the oil. I guess I could check the oil right now, huh? Well, there's definitely oil in there. No, that's not bad at all. I can get it back on without stripping it. Come on. Come on. I'm not left-handed. Let me switch hands. There we go. Alright, well that's about it. It's late in the evening. This is one of my favorite times of the day. It's really nice out here, but you can see it wasn't that tough of a job. Whoa. So I had to cut myself off there. I jumped the gun too soon. I was about to end the video, but I went and tried to crank this thing up again, and it would not start. Before, I was having to hold my hand over the carburetor intake, you know. That got it to run, but then I tested again. It just would not start, and I checked out, and there was just no spark. Remember I was saying before, it was real weak, you know. But this time I checked it, and there was no spark at all. So I'm going to change out the magneto and clean the carburetor out again. I'm going to put it in ultrasonic again, put it back on, and we'll see if that works. What you doing, kitty? You gonna help me out? This is an aftermarket. It does not have a little lock provision for the shield, but I can still tighten it down that way. Hopefully it'll stay in place. Just go ahead and put this on. Alright, now for the big test. This is the third time I put that carburetor into the ultrasonic cleaner and made sure it's good and clean. And then I just replaced the magneto. So let's see if it'll crank. Alright. Choke is on. Idle's on fast. Alright, well that got it that time. Cleaned the carburetor 3 times and replaced the magneto on it. It was working on and off sporadically there for a while, and then wouldn't start at all, but sure enough it was there was just no spark. And when I got it running the first time, it was a real weak spark. This time it is running pretty good. So I guess that is it. I almost jumped the gun there, but now's the end of the video. So once again, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch my next video.